Magilla Gorilla for sale. Won't you buy him? Take him home and try him.
Remember that pet shop gorilla who could never find a home? That bouncing ape in the window wasn't just adorable. He was a 3-year economic tragedy disguised as Saturday morning fun.
Gorilla, Magilla Gorilla for sale.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
Today we're counting down 20 bizarre facts about Magilla Gorilla that'll make you see Mr. Peebles' failing business in a whole new light. The show was a real estate metaphor. Here's where it gets dark. Mr. Peebles' pet shop operated at a continuous loss for 3 years of broadcast time.
Even a big tuba?
Yep, even a big tuba.
He couldn't afford to feed Magilla, couldn't afford the shop's rent, but refused to lower the gorilla's price to market value. This wasn't comedy. It was economic desperation. The writers accidentally created a show about small business failure during America's 1960s retail boom. Every episode reinforced the same brutal lesson. Sometimes you're stuck with unsellable inventory, and pride keeps you from making rational business decisions that could save you. Magilla was voiced by a Looney Tunes legend. Alan Melvin brought Magilla to life. The same voice actor who later became Barney Rubble and Sam the Butcher on The Brady Bunch. His voice direction from producers was specifically childlike innocence trapped in a commercial transaction.
You are a very astute observer of gorilla nature, little girl.
Melvin recorded sessions in brutal 3-hour marathon blocks to save studio costs, often doing 15 to 20 takes per scene. Here's the kicker: Magilla's signature giggle wasn't scripted. Melvin improvised it during the first recording session, and producers loved it so much they wrote it into every subsequent episode as a character trademark. The pet shop had no other animals. Look closely at Mr. Peebles' pet shop. There are no other animals, none. The entire business model centered on one unsellable gorilla sitting in the window background. Artists initially drew birds, fish, and puppies in early episodes, but producers deliberately removed them in post-production.
Don't worry, Mr. Peebles, I'm a real hot dogger. I'm no Grammy.
The decision was calculated. Emphasize Magilla's isolation and Mr. Peebles' irrational obsession with this single asset. What should have been a cheerful pet shop became an unintentional horror premise, a commercial space with only one lonely resident waiting endlessly for a transaction that never works out. It was Hanna-Barbera's first sad protagonist. Every previous Hanna-Barbera character was fundamentally optimistic. Yogi Bear schemed successfully. Huckleberry Hound wandered cheerfully. The Flintstones had family stability. Magilla was different. He was defined entirely by rejection and abandonment. Network executives at Screen Gems initially rejected the pitch, calling it the depressing gorilla show. Bill Hanna personally fought for the concept, arguing it represented honest storytelling for kids about disappointment. He believed children needed to see characters who didn't always win. The network reluctantly greenlit 31 episodes, but refused to commit to a second season up front. The theme song was written in 11 minutes. Composer Hoyt Curtin, the musical genius behind the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo, wrote Magilla's iconic theme during a lunch break at the Hanna-Barbera commissary. The famous lyric, "We've got a gorilla for sale," was originally a placeholder he scribbled on a napkin, intending to replace it with something more sophisticated.
Gorilla, your dreams, the sweetest gorilla. Gorilla for sale.
Producers heard the demo and immediately locked it in. Curtin later admitted he thought the song was too simple and too literal, but it became one of the most memorable cartoon themes of the entire 1960s. The song outlasted the show's cultural relevance by decades. Ogee was supposed to be a boy. Original character design sheets show Ogee as a young boy in shorts and a baseball cap. Everything changed when Jean Vanderpeel, the voice of Wilma Flintstone, auditioned and completely reimagined the character during her Red. Producers were so impressed they redesigned Ogee as a girl specifically for Vanderpeel's interpretation. Her backstory became crucial. Ogee was a spoiled rich kid whose parents bought her affection through endless purchases. Every time Ogee returned Magilla, it reflected her wealthy family's disposable attitude toward expensive toys. The character became a critique of consumer culture disguised as a cute kid Mr. Peebles was modeled after a real pet shop owner. Character designer Jerry Eisenberg based Mr. Peebles directly on Melvin Goldstein, who ran a struggling pet shop in Studio City. During the late 1950s, Goldstein's real shop barely survived and actually housed a small spider monkey he couldn't sell for nearly 18 months.
And then things grew all out of proportion.
Eisenberg was a regular customer and watched Goldstein's daily frustrations with the unsellable primate Goldstein, even consulted informally on early episodes about pet shop economics and realistic customer interactions. Here's the wild part. Goldstein received zero credit and only discovered his likeness was used when friends recognized him decades later during syndication reruns. The show had a bizarre sponsor conflict. Kellogg's cereal sponsored the show but immediately demanded Magilla eat their products instead of bananas in every episode. They wanted fictional Kellogg's Jungle Crunch cereal boxes prominently displayed throughout episodes. Hanna-Barbera refused, arguing it destroyed biological accuracy, and made the show feel like a commercial rather than entertainment. Negotiations became genuinely tense, with Kellogg's threatening to pull sponsorship entirely. The compromise was awkward. Magilla could eat bananas naturally, but cereal boxes had to appear in random background shots throughout episodes. Watch closely. You'll spot them on shelves, counters, and tables throughout the entire series run. There was a banned episode about circuses. Episode 23, titled Circus Days, showed Magilla being sold to a traveling circus where trainers used whips and chains to control him during performance training. Parents groups immediately complained the content was too dark and psychologically traumatic for children. The episode aired only 3 times before being permanently pulled from rotation and excluded from all syndication packages. No home video release ever included it. The only surviving copy exists in UCLA's Film and Television Archive, preserved as an example of 1960s broadcasting standards evolution. Modern viewers who've seen it describe it as genuinely disturbing for a children's cartoon. The animation was recycled from other shows. Production deadlines were absolutely brutal. 31 episodes delivered in just 8 months. To meet this impossible schedule, animators extensively recycled walk cycles, background plates, and crowd scenes directly from Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, and Quick Draw McGraw. Animators privately called this technique Frankenstein animation, stitching together existing footage with minimal new drawings. Some episodes reuse identical footage 4 or 5 times with only slight color palette changes. Watch Mr. Peebles walk across his shop. That's the exact same animation cycle from Ranger Smith walking through Jellystone Park, just recolored and slightly rescaled to fit the new character design. Magilla's price changed. Based on episodes, continuity was not a priority. Early episodes listed Magilla's price at $500, which converts to approximately $5,000 in today's money. Mid-season episodes suddenly jumped to $3,000 without explanation. Late-season episodes occasionally showed price tags reading $750. Writers never established a canonical price, and producers didn't care about consistency. Some fans theorized this was intentional inflation commentary. Mr. Peebles desperately raising prices as his financial situation worsened. Others believe it was simple carelessness during rushed production schedules. Either way, the fluctuating price tag became an unintentional running gag that eagle-eyed viewers noticed and discussed for decades afterward. It was banned in 3 countries. International distribution hit unexpected roadblocks. The United Kingdom banned the show in 1965 for promoting animal captivity and commercial exploitation of wildlife. Australia pulled it from broadcast schedules after a real gorilla escaped from Sydney Zoo, and officials worried the show normalized dangerous exotic pet ownership. Sweden objected on entirely different grounds, claiming the show represented capitalist indoctrination of children by making commerce and monetary transactions central to every episode's plot. All 3 bans were eventually lifted by the mid-1970s, but the damage to international sales was already done. The show never achieved the global reach Hanna-Barbera anticipated, The show had secret educational segments. NBC's Saturday morning programming required pro-social educational content to satisfy FCC regulations about children's television writers, embedded lessons about empathy, responsibility, and basic economics throughout every episode. Mr. Peebles' financial struggles taught budgeting. Magilla's repeated returns taught coping with disappointment. Ogee's character demonstrated consequences of impulsive purchasing decisions. Most young viewers never consciously noticed the educational framing. They just watched a funny gorilla. However, the FCC specifically cited the Magilla Gorilla Show as an exemplary model of compliant children's programming that delivered entertainment while meeting regulatory educational requirements. The formula worked perfectly because the lessons felt invisible. There was a darker, original ending planned. The series finale script originally showed Magilla being sold permanently to a loving family who genuinely wanted him. Mr. Peebles would close his failing shop, pack up, and move to a different city to start over. The final scene showed an empty pet shop window with a closed permanently sign. NBC executives read the script and rejected it immediately as too traumatic for young audiences. They demanded the status quo be maintained. The final episode that actually aired showed Magilla returned once again, everything reset to the beginning. Writers privately complained. This ending betrayed the show's emotional honesty. Alan Melvin hated the character. In a candid 1984 interview with Animation magazine, Melvin called voicing Magilla the saddest job I ever accepted in my entire career. He felt the premise was fundamentally emotionally manipulative and made children feel bad every week without resolution. Melvin refused to reprise the role when Hanna-Barbera explored revival discussions in the late 1970s. He specifically told producers he couldn't emotionally connect with a character defined entirely by rejection. However, Melvin softened his stance in later years, acknowledging the show taught children valuable lessons about handling disappointment and that not every story has a happy ending. His performance remains iconic, despite his personal reservations. The pet shop was based on a real location. The visual design of Mr. Peebles' pet shop was directly modeled after Peebles' Pet Emporium, a real business located in Glendale, California that closed in 1961. The actual shop's owner couldn't sell an expensive imported parrot for nearly 2 years. Watching it sit in the window while rent piled up, Hanna-Barbera writer Michael Maltese saw that parrot during the shop's final weeks and imagined, what if that was a gorilla instead? That single observation became the entire show's premise. The real building was demolished in 1998. Today, a Starbucks occupies the exact location where the inspiration for Magilla's prison originated. Magilla appeared in other HB shows. Magilla became Hanna-Barbera's unofficial symbol of lovable failure, appearing across multiple properties. He had a prominent cameo role in Laugh Olympics, 1977 to 1979, as a competitor, made background appearances in Yogi's Treasure Hunt, and was mentioned by name in Adult Swim's Harvey Birdman, attorney at law during a trademark dispute episode. His cross-show appearances always emphasized the same characteristic. He's trying hard but never quite succeeds. Writers used Magilla as shorthand for sympathetic incompetence. The character transcended his original show to become a studio-wide mascot for characters who don't win but remain endearing despite constant failure. His cultural footprint exceeded his modest 31-episode origin. It inspired a real gorilla adoption program. In 1966, the San Diego Zoo launched their groundbreaking Adopt a Gorilla conservation program, and they explicitly cited the Magilla Gorilla Show as direct inspiration for the initiative. Zoo director Dr. Charles Schroeder wrote to Hanna-Barbera explaining that Magilla's popularity made gorillas sympathetic and relatable to American families in unprecedented ways. The program raised over $50,000 in its first year, substantial money for 1960s conservation efforts. Hanna-Barbera received no financial compensation from the zoo's fundraising, but publicly appreciated the conservation connection. The program still exists today, having raised millions for gorilla protection. Magilla's accidental legacy includes real-world wildlife preservation funding. The show was revived 3 times. The franchise refused to die. In 1977, Magilla Gorilla and Friends aired with new episodes, but failed after just 13 installments due to poor ratings and budget cuts. Marvel Comics published a 6-issue comic book series in 1988 that reimagined Magilla in contemporary settings. Most recently, Warner Bros. Seriously considered a live-action/CGI hybrid film in 2019, but the project was canceled during pre-production after poor test screenings of concept footage. Each revival attempted to explain why Magilla couldn't be sold, adding backstory about his behavioral issues or Mr. Peebles' emotional attachment. None captured the original's strange, melancholy magic. The premise only worked in its original 1960s context. It changed how cartoons portrayed failure. The Magilla Gorilla Show was the first mainstream American cartoon where the protagonist never achieves their fundamental goal across the entire series. Magilla never finds a permanent home. Mr. Peebles never achieves financial stability. This narrative choice directly influenced later sympathetic loser characters in animation. Charlie Brown's TV specials, Courage the Cowardly Dog, even aspects of SpongeBob SquarePants. The show proved children could handle ambiguous, melancholy storytelling without neat resolutions. It normalized emotional complexity in children's animation and demonstrated that characters didn't need to win every episode to be beloved. Magilla's legacy is profound. He made failure acceptable, even endearing, in children's entertainment forever. So there you have it, 20 wild facts that prove the Magilla Gorilla Show wasn't just a simple cartoon about a bouncing ape. It was economic anxiety, creative risk-taking, emotional honesty, and accidental conservation activism, all disguised as Saturday morning entertainment. It became iconic precisely because it dared to show children that sometimes things don't work out, and that's okay.